All right.
Single one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pouch the Podcast, and we usually deal with Australian news and politics.
Not so seriously.
Not so seriously. And tonight, we're going to get even less serious, Jake. We're going to take off our not so serious pants and put on our less serious pants.
I'm way ahead of you.
Yes, I can tell.
Well, I'm stuck in between taking them off and putting on the next pair.
Are you in the? Are you in your business workwear? Is this what you wear to work?
I've decided to do what the Prime Minister did recently.
Build a trip pen.
Build a trip pen. Did that not so long ago. No, I've decided to go business up top.
Yes.
Very, very casual down below.
It's very good, Jake. It's very good.
I haven't, of course, I haven't invited my personal photographer to join me in quarantine for 2 weeks after a diplomatic trip to Japan.
No.
But I have donned the business shirt shorts combo.
Yeah. It's a good vibe. It's a good vibe, and I did notice that he had, certainly not staged photos at all, Jake, of him being on a treadmill, of him, working hard. Very, very good footage there of our Prime Minister working very, very hard. For 2 weeks, he gets to quarantine in that filth and squalor.
Yeah, absolutely. Of the lodge, yes. For me, Greg, I think the most exciting part about that was that treadmill, or actually it was a bike, but that bike got its first use since Scott Morrison became Prime Minister. No,
it was good.
Jake, don't make fat jokes.
Yes, that's right. There's a backpedaling joke in there somewhere, Jake.
Very nice.
There's a backpedaling joke in there somewhere. Now, let's get to it, Jake. Now, the very first story we've got is wonderful because it's all about a Hungry Jack's burger, and I do love a bit of Hungry Jack's, Jake, or Burger King for our New Zealand listenership.
Big sponsors of the show.
Big sponsors of the show. And what is the connection here between Hungry Jack's and Wikipedia? This is exciting.
Ooh, great question.
It is a good question.
It's a great question.
We're going to link in Burger King with all of our stories tonight, Jake.
Exactly. I've got a great answer for you. It's that somebody in the Northern Territory edited the Hungry Jack's Wikipedia page, Greg. Can you believe it?
Yes. No.
Well, there's a news story about it, so I'm going to implore you to believe it. But yes, Greg, on Tuesday at 1:38 p.m. Australian Daylight Savings Time, a Twitter account called Aussie Parl and Gov Wiki Edits tweeted that the Hungry Jack's page was edited by an anonymous user.
Goodness.
Greg, do you want to guess? Do you want to guess the words?
Yep.
That were edited?
Yep.
What were the words?
Something
Greg?
about they probably changed flame grilled to Bear Grylls.
You're so close.
Yes, I am.
Do you want to make any other guesses?
Yeah, I'd love to make some more guests. They changed it to announce how much sugar they actually put in their buns.
Yep. No.
14 cups.
per 100 grams.
It's actually just fairy floss at this point.
Well, actually, maybe you are relatively close. No,
I am. I'm definitely right about that.
The actual words that they added to the Wikipedia page are, quote, pee-pee, poo-poo, yee-haw, I'm very cock-a-doodle-doo. Greg, words spoken like a poet.
It is.
It's just classic Aussie larrikinism, Greg.
It rolls off the tongue, and it certainly is the exact. I think we've all felt that way after having a Hungry Jack's burger, Jake. Yep. So it's wonderful that someone's able to put such feelings into poetry and put it on a Wikipedia page. It's very wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Certainly not a sign of the times at all.
No.
Misinformation. Our kids are going to grow up thinking that that's what Hungry Jack's is like, and it's just not true.
It's not true at all, Greg. Onion rings are, in my opinion, the things that the gods gave to us.
Absolutely, and that's why I used mine as my engagement ring. Now, speaking of engagement, Jake, we have had a roller coaster 2020. Right now, this is not a metaphor.
Yes, we're in it.
Yes, this is not a metaphor, Jake.
No.
This is literally, we have had a literal roller coaster during 2020. Tell us, this has got to do with the economy though, but the economy is showing signs of recovering, and this is because Apple have released the new iPhone, and now everything's back on track.
Yeah, sales are down actually of the new iPhone. Interestingly enough.
Well, I suppose down for Apple is. I'd still take that.
Guys, we're only making $4 trillion in profit. We're going to need to slice off some things. I don't know. Anyway,
you can't get these HomePod minis anywhere. They're all out of stock.
It's crazy.
In Australia.
I've been
Insane.
I've been trying to get the AirPods Pro.
Oh, have you?
Can't
Jump
get
on
them.
board,
I'm hoping that they arrive on Amazon by the end of the week.
Yeah, right.
In time for Black Friday.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
That'll be exciting. All right. Anyway, all right. So tell us,
Yes.
Jake. You've got a bit of spare cash now because the economy is tickety boo.
Oh, look, it's bonza.
It is.
In the great words
Ripper.
of someone who made the first exclamation of the word bonza. Yes. So look, the major thing that you want to point to here is that there are very high hopes for the unemployment rate. So it's at roughly 7%. Down from 7.4% last month, which is down from 9.3% just a couple of months ago. So it is getting significantly better, and it does seem to be recovering rather quickly.
So the good news is that Scott Morrison is doing a wonderful job.
Well, the good news is that the economy is recovering from the job that Scott Morrison did some months ago.
Okay, but tell us. So this obviously doesn't include any numbers of recovery that will be included from Victoria over the coming months.
No, but interestingly enough, one thing I would say around that is that Premier Dan Andrews' approval rating has shot from 54% a month ago to 65% now.
God, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, hey? Well, he's recovered. He's really well.
He's recovered along with the economy. That's right. He's going side by side.
Charted those waters rather well, and yeah. So there's a lot on the horizon. We'll get some information in the coming weeks. Of course, we've got the RBA decision. The most recent Reserve Bank of Australia's decision was to cut rates, slightly beyond the already emergency level rates into some what they call extra mega level super quasi Godzilla level emergency levels where it's at right now.
Can we go into positive? Can I actually get paid now to have a mortgage? Aren't we at like
no,
0.01%?
It's so unlikely. So the Reserve Bank Governor of Australia has essentially said there's probably zero way that is going to happen.
Yes,
it's not
probably
Australian
zero,
to do
Jake. That doesn't. There's still some odds there.
There are some European countries that have done that in the very recent past.
Yeah.
But no, it's probably so unlikely to happen. It is probably so ridiculously unlikely to happen.
Well, you know what? I've missed out on every other stimulus package, so it doesn't matter. I imagine I'll miss out on that one too if it ever comes around. Okay, but some people have needed rescuing, Jake. And just as with the bushfires, coronavirus has struck animals as well. And some people have taken it upon themselves to not only rescue human beings, but also to rescue animals. And this story here is about a young girl who has rescued a shark, Jake.
Abby Gilbert.
Stuck on Tasmanian beach. They're not words that you hear usually. A Tasmanian beach and shark on Tasmanian beach.
Well,
does Tasmania have beaches?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it has coastline.
Does it?
It has.
Are we calling that a
reasonable
beach?
Amount of? Well, look, my wife is from the Pacific Northwest in the United States.
That's not Tasmania, Jake.
That's
I'm calling
true.
it now.
That's very true. But they have beaches and they have black sand and sub-zero.
The black sand beaches. Everyone knows about those, Jake. Everyone's been to Iceland.
But it's freezing. It's freezing.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't equate that, but anyway, it's probably extraordinarily similar. But yes, a young girl, by the name of Billy Ray, had found a little. She's 11-year-old. She found a little draft board shark. I've never heard of a draft board shark.
Me neither.
But nonetheless,
that's because they live on Tasmanian beaches, and you've never heard of those either.
Apparently, yes. Found this stranded draft board shark, stranded by an outgoing tide.
Yep.
And decided that she would take it upon herself to get herself bit. And get herself bit. She didn't. She was bitten by the love bug Greg, and she went and rescued that shark.
Okay.
And released it into the beach.
The mouth of a larger shark.
Well, no, she released it into the beach, and it was fantastic. It was then, of course, that they realized it was actually a freshwater shark.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
But anyway, they saved it.
Okay, so yeah, right. Okay, that's wonderful. We'll leave a. There's a 53-second video on this apparently, Jake. So
there is
very,
yes.
very exciting. Yeah. Okay. All right. That is some good news. Good news for that shark. Meanwhile, didn't someone get bitten in Western Australia, and they're trying to find the shark
because somebody died. Yep.
They're trying to find the shark to get rid of it now. So
well, before they lost sight of it, people shot their guns into the ocean. They were shooting blindly into the ocean, which anyone who's watched Mythbusters, Greg, knows that the bullet fragments extremely quickly upon contact with the surface of the water.
Okay. Well, I'll have to take your word for that, Jake. I'll have to Google that later on. I don't shoot. Who are these people with guns at beaches?
Oh, sheriffs.
Sheriffs.
I don't know.
Who in Australia is taking a gun to a beach?
Oh,
all right.
Someone who's prepared.
That's right.
Action. Now, an action man.
Jake, if you were to take a gun to a beach, you might need a doctor eventually. Particularly if you're a shark, apparently.
I'm really loving these segues, Greg.
They're great, aren't they? They're so smooth. They're smooth like silk. Adelaide
Speaking
doctor.
Which silk?
Yeah. Really, really rough silk. I think they sell it as sandpaper in Bunnings.
Yep.
Adelaide doctor describes shock at coronavirus diagnosis that led to South Australian lockdown. I was shocked, Jake. I was ready. I was ready for another week of mentioning a state that had done wrong, and that we were going to blame all the premiers and another hotel quarantine breach, and now it's all just lies. It's all fallen to rubbish. So tell us about this Adelaide doctor who is very shocked.
Well, so the one of the doctors at the Lyle McEwen Hospital, Dr. Dharmini Thorin. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce her surname, and I don't want to butcher it.
No, let's not butcher the name.
But Dharmini T. She was treating an 81-year-old woman on the night of Friday, November 13th, when she noticed that she had a slight cough, and she got herself swabbed.
Good.
And she said she was not feeling her normal self, and she was feeling weak. And she had a few other sort of non-specific symptoms. That's not distracting at all, Greg. I really need to not look at the comments from
well, now you know how I feel. Welcome to my world, Jack.
Oh, love it. But yes, so essentially, she was the one that discovered that there was a cluster of people with COVID-19 in South Australia that, invariably it did launch a lockdown, which the Premier and the Chief Health Officer are very thankful of, because it got the potential cluster under control.
As a success. I think they found a couple of cases connected to it today, or at least one case connected to it still today. But unfortunately, it all originates from a security guard that was working in their version of the hotel quarantine. Yes,
that lied when they were contacted by the contact tracing authorities. Lied and said that they just got a pizza. Instead, they actually worked
at the pizza shop.
Exactly, and
dirty.
That was the and unfortunately, the Premier there was rather scathing in a move that will do great things for people in the future who want. If you can put it over my forehead, that'd be great. That's excellent. I love it. It's a little mask.
It does go away.
I loved that. That was fantastic. But
right,
yes,
anyway,
she discovered it. She's pretty amazing. Well done. She despite the fact that there was no community transmission to that state, to that stage, she pushed for a COVID-19 test, happened to detect it, and managed to save South Australia's economy and probably numerous people.
Single-handedly. We will post a photo of her holding up the South Australian economy. On the...
like Atlas with the world on the back of her shoulder.
What do they do in South Australia? What do they do? How do they make their money?
Go to church. I think they all just go to church. I think that's their major economy.
Yeah.
To be frank, I know so little about South Australia. Actually, you know what, Greg? That's a really good point. Why don't I do an expose in an upcoming episode?
If that's legal, Jake, you're more than welcome to do that.
Let's do it. We'll call it what's the deal with South Australia?
I think we need to know more about South Australia. Absolutely, yeah, I think we could probably do a know your state and territory series.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, this is a challenge then, isn't it? Now, Jake, earlier we were talking about. We should have really done this one after after the shark. It would have been a bit easier.
An easy transition.
Yeah, that's
Speaking
right.
Of transitions.
Okay, now in Australia, Jake, we don't just love our South Australians. We also love ourselves some turtle stories. Now, this is a good news turtle story. I'm going to try and get a picture of this turtle up here while you do this story. There's endangered hawks-billed turtles return to nest on Pilbara coast, raising hopes for conservation. Jake, we do love ourselves some turtles. I love the fact that they live, for up to 600 years. That they, their shells are harder than any known substance in the universe. And the way they curl up in a ball and roll away down the sound dunes when they're scared is just wonderful. So tell us what's happening with these turtles, Jake.
Look, they're pretty well endangered, and they have been for some time. There's no major thing to point to in terms of why they're endangered, apart from fishing and the dragnet fishing, etc. What is it? What's that called when they put the big, trawling? That's what I'm talking about.
There we go. Look, there's one down. There we go.
Oh, it just popped up on our screen.
I don't know where to put it.
The Pilbara coast.
You can sit between us for a little bit.
Right in between us. I'll just pat the turtle. Yes, the turtle. Don't eat the turtle, Greg.
Don't eat the turtle.
The turtle. It's sand in your mouth.
Yeah.
The turtle had returned, interesting enough. So it had been tagged for some time.
Yep.
But the turtle, they've been looking, the wildlife carers, the conservationists have been looking for these turtles for some significant time because they are, as I said, critically endangered, and they've been a subject of a long-running scientific study. But this one who was, born 30 years ago, turned up on the same beach that it was born on 30 years ago. How about that?
Crazy. So 60 years old.
Yep.
Went away for however long, and has been recorded for a third time in 30 years on the same beach. So for the third time in 30 years, critically endangered hawksbill turtles on Rosemary Island are the subject of a long-running scientific study. This is amazing. So for the third time, it's come back onto the beach, and it may have come back even more than that.
Since, yeah.
At night, it sneaks up on there.
Each turtle can lay up to 150 eggs in a nest.
That's insane.
But of course, the odds are tough when only 1 in every 1,000 survives.
That's pretty brutal. That's way too.
That's nature. That's nature.
It is nature, Jake. Well, you know what? There's a lot more birds because of all those turtles being eaten. So, pick your animal. What do you want?
Yep.
You want to have birds? You want to have crocodiles? You're going to lose a few turtles.
Yeah.
Turtles are like the eggs of Australia.
Yeah, they're exactly like the eggs.
The other animals are the omelette, and if you want an omelette, you have to break a few eggs. You got to crack
a few eggs.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Got to crack a few turtles.
Absolutely.
It's went in a very strange direction, Greg.
You know what? That's just what the vibe is tonight, Jake.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Numbat numbers, Jake. We're sticking with a theme tonight. I feel like this is a very much an animal theme. Numbat numbers at Western Australia. Now, this is not a dig at Western Australian people, by the way. This is literal numbats. Numbat numbers at Western Australia's Dryandra woodland grow as feral cat culling program kicks in.
Yes.
Excellent.
That's the story.
Next story.
Actually,
Mango dress made from 700 seeds.
Yeah, it's a good news story. It began and ended.
Well, that's good, Jake. I'm glad you've got the theme of the show at least.
It's a good news story. It stemmed from the identification of a sincere issue with the numbats in the Dryandra woodland in Western Australia.
Yep.
And essentially they noticed the decline in the numbers. They've figured out that the issue with the numbats was not really, habitat destruction. It was more that there'd been a whole bunch of feral cats encroaching on their areas and eating them and killing them and etc. So a program to cull the feral cats has commenced, and there you go. We've got a record 35 numbats, the most since a survey in the 1990s recorded 36.
That's amazing, Jake. That's very, very exciting. I'm stoked for the numbats.
Me too.
I'm stoked for the numbats. Now,
yeah, they have it seems that's a really interesting success rate, because we were just discussing the turtles that have a 1 in 1,000 chance of survival.
Yes.
And this has gone from 36 in 1990s to 35 in so net loss of 1.
That's amazing. I don't know. What do you do with numbats?
Yeah, you eat them? No, I'm just kidding. You look at them; they're marsupials. They're really cool. They look like they're our versions of the squirrel.
Ah, yep, I can see that. Yeah, they're very cute.
They are freaking adorable.
Okay, yep, they are very, very adorable. They don't look like very big animals. They're quite cute.
No. No, they're like they're a they look like, I suppose, Australia's version of the squirrel.
They didn't make it onto They didn't make it onto the a coin.
No, and some have said that that's actually the reason why they're critically endangered.
Yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's it. You can't
don't make it onto a coin. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, they've got to be able to have enough animals to copy, what they look like onto the coin.
Yeah, exactly.
You
need at least 36.
Yeah.
As a model.
All right. Speaking of models, Jake, how good is it? Someone has modeled a mango dress made from 700 seeds after a 4-month labor of love by a teenager to highlight wasting of seeds.
Well, just waste in general. Waste in general, Greg.
Can you waste fruit?
Absolutely.
Don't you just throw it on the ground and it just sort of absorbs itself back in? I think that's a net carbon. That's a carbon net neutral zero activity.
So I think you're talking about that as though you are the consumer who has that piece. But the reality is that the big food retailers, Woolworths, Coles, etc., in Australia, once the food is starting to go bad, they don't give it to needy people.
Yep.
They put it in the bin, and they don't send it to areas where it can rot and be reabsorbed into the ground. They throw it into the bin, and that creates methane and contributes to carbon pollution and global warming and so on and so forth. Anyway,
right, well, now I just feel bad.
Look, if you open your fridge, Greg, I challenge you, go open your fridge and you tell me that you have no rotting food in there.
I don't think we do. I think it's quite well maintained. But anyway, I will check. All right, so tell us about this dress.
I've got some beans rotting in there at the moment. Probably really should take care of that. But yes, this is quite interesting. A teenager from Dumbulla, the Atherton Tablelands up near Cairns. She completed her year 12 at Sydney's Abbottsley boarding school this week.
Yes.
And she attended her formal wearing, as you say, a delightful dress. It's mango coloured.
Yep.
It's actually, I would say, mango sorbet coloured, sort of that light and fluffy mango colour.
Yeah, look,
made up of around 700 mango seeds, and it weighs about 5 kilograms, which seems a bit heavy to me as an item of clothing.
Yeah, that is quite heavy.
Particularly a strapless number as that is. I imagine that would be quite difficult in order to ensure that it is maintained on the upper region of the body rather than just not just falling down. But it's pretty amazing. She's hoping that her creation helps highlight food waste and repurposing waste, or upcycling, as the kids like to refer to it these days.
They do. They love it. They love the upcycling. Well, we're certainly talking about it, Jake. So it took Miss Collins about 4 months to make the dress. First, she cut off the flesh of the mango seeds, she said. Good move.
She probably could have peeled away
eaten them. Yeah. I would take them over to Dad's pressure cleaner and clean the rest of the flesh off so they'd be nice and clean and no animals would eat them. Then I would take them home, dry them, and then sew them onto the dress. She said her family's love of fishing also helped inspire the design. I thought they looked a bit like fish scales, she said. Dad will be happy.
Great big sequins, it looks like. Great big non-shiny sequins.
Sequins, yes.
It's actually a really beautiful dress, I got to say, and the cut is magnificent.
I wonder how long it would take you to realise that they were mangoes if you didn't know that they were mangoes.
I don't.
You'd probably think they were Pringles from a distance. Large Pringles.
Oh, somebody realised that once you pop, you can't stop. Sewed them all on.
I would. Is it wrong that I would prefer clothing made out of Pringles and just have them right there? Have them right there on my.
I would be afraid,
shirt.
Greg, that I would make it out wearing a Pringle shirt or a Pringle pair of pants, and I would be naked before too long. I think.
Yeah, it's very true.
Given my love of Pringles.
All right, now speaking of a love of Pringles, Jake, we love ourselves some Pringles, and we also love.
We do.
We also
big sponsors of the show.
Yeah, big sponsors of the show, we do love ourselves some Pringles, and we also love ourselves some good immunity, Jake. And this is some good news about Australia's long-term COVID-19 immunity. This is wonderful. This is where we're at now at the moment, isn't it? All of the headlines are talking about immunity. This is the next big thing. This is the next phase that we're all heading to. So tell us what's happening in Australia.
Well, this is in the Australian Financial Review, and essentially...
It's a paid version, so I have no idea what's happening. So
yes, I can read the first two sentences, and it's. I must have opened this on Apple News. But yes, in a world first, Australian researchers have shown that a COVID-19 infection provides at least 8 months of sustained protection against reinfection.
So we got to go back every 8 months?
Well, I think this is a forward counting calendar. So it will be consistently looking to see when the people that they're tracking actually get infected again. So the question is it mutating quick enough? And we know most viruses like this, they're RNA viruses, they mutate very quickly in order to maintain their survivability, because viruses, they just want to survive, Greg. They want to survive and reproduce.
Yes, that's right.
So
they're
it's
certainly
really
in it for the long haul.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better. So, yes, the question is, how long can it last at this stage? At least 8 months.
Okay.
Over to you, Greg.
That's very exciting. I'm excited. I can't wait to get jabbed in the arm again for something else.
Well, so this isn't about jabberoties. This isn't about vaccerinos. This is about getting infected by.
Oh, sorry. All right, my mistake.
And then the immunity from that infection lasts at the very least at this stage 8 months.
So someone like Donald Trump who's already had it will have it, or Tom Hanks. He'll
it depends. Well, Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks, absolutely. Donald Trump, did he have it? Oh,
yeah.
That's a conspiracy.
Conspiratorial.
Yep.
Now, Jake, earlier we were speaking about mangoes.
We sure were.
And now we're going to speak about oranges.
Fantastic.
The New South Wales government, who are wonderful, by the way, they're going to give us all here in New South Wales, we're going to get a voucher. They did start by calling it the Out and About voucher, and now I think they're going to call it the Dine and Discover voucher, if I've got it right. After backlash, there's always a backlash for everything these days, and after the backlash, they get to talk about the Dine and Discover. So I think we all get 4 $25 vouchers to go and dine and discover. Each adult will get one of those. So New South Wales government, who is an excellent government, because now I'm going to get... Actually, this is the first stimulus package I actually get a chunk of, Jake. I certainly haven't got my tax cut yet.
It's about time. You haven't?
No.
Surely.
It hasn't come through in my paycheck yet. Anyway,
I did. I'm making mad bank at the moment.
No doubt. I imagine everyone else is. New South Wales government's energy infrastructure roadmap. Good news for Orange. I do love Orange.
I do. I also love an orange. I also love Orange, the region.
Yes.
The
With the
township.
announcement of the New South Wales government's energy infrastructure roadmap last week, they're set to rocket towards first place in Australia's renewable energy race. That is good news.
Yeah, I would say the premise of referring to rockets and renewable energy in the same sentence, I'm not sure that they're entirely congruent.
Also, isn't the bar set pretty low to be first in Australia's race for
renewable energy?
Yeah.
I don't know. You got Snowy Hydro. You got Snowy Hydro 2.0. You got a bunch of solar plants. You got a bunch of solar thermal plants.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you fly into Tasmania, into Hobart, you've got those beautiful verdant, bucolic green settings.
Well, Jake, when I hear energy infrastructure roadmap, I think gas.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Did you happen to smell? Yeah. No. No. This is about It's not about gas.
No.
Although gas is going to, of course, form a part of it. But no, this is more about essentially finding ways to be cool with renewable energy, and no greater place for being cool with renewable energy than a place named after a fruit. I'm not sure where I was going there, but I definitely did.
You landed somewhere, Jake, and that's good. So tell us what is happening. What are the major facts of this? Well,
they're thinking about wind and solar.
Yep.
Of course, you've got major conductors and circuit transducer. I don't know whether those two words go together, but the circuitry often is reliant on rare earth minerals like gold and others. And of course, there's a reasonably large gold mine down there.
Is there?
And yeah, absolutely. Newcrest's Cardia gold mine is down there.
Huh. There you go.
There you go.
Quit and work tomorrow.
Exactly.
You heard it here first.
They are talking about various forms of renewable energy down there, and it's very exciting for them. Of course, the federal government is pushing new gas and oil. Works in pretty well all of Australia's regions for one reason or another. It's not like our international customers are, pledging to go carbon neutral by 2050 or anything like all of our customers, like China and Japan and India. And oh my gosh. Anyway.
We'd be left out in the cold if it wasn't for global warming.
So true. So true. You're right. Global warming is a net good, Greg. It is a net good.
Yeah. There's a joke in there somewhere. All right. Now, part of the roadmap is that people would start to hopefully purchase themselves some electric cars. And it's a challenge in Australia to have those electric cars because there's such a vast gulf between one place and another. But one place that New South Welshmen would like to go in their electric cars, Jake, is Queensland. And they're almost good to go as Queensland rolls out the welcome mat for Sydney-siders and their fancy, fancy Tesla electric cars. I think what's his name? Who's the Tesla fellow?
Him.
Come on. What's his name?
Starts with Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. It starts with Elon and ends in Musk. That's right. Elon Musk. Elon Musk became the second richest person on the planet today. So congratulations to him. And some good news for him.
About time.
Yeah,
good old him and Jeff Bezos.
It is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You might say his stocks are flying, soaring.
They're rocketing.
Yeah. In the stratosphere.
Yep, absolutely. So anyway, all right, back to this. So people are buying the Tesla cars. Hopefully, by the time the Tesla trucks come out, we'll be able to get into Queensland. Tell us what's happening with the Queensland border, Jake. This is the good news episode. Remember?
Well, it's very exciting, Greg. From December 1st, December 1, the Queensland border will open its border to millions of Sydney residents even, that have been excluded from the open border policy with parts of the rest of Australia. we in Queensland, we had opened our borders to the border towns, and I think it went for it was about 100 kilometres inland, allowing people to go south and people south of the border to go north. Yes, it seems that the local reticence towards opening those borders to the Sydney townships, where some community transmission has occurred sort of sporadically over the last little while. That essentially we will be opening our borders to the Greater Sydney, which is fantastic.
Well, there hasn't been any new community transmission cases for nearly 3 weeks, over 3 weeks now, so it's amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic. So that's very, very good. On Tuesday, Mish Palisade said New South Wales had met the 28-day threshold of 0 unlinked virus infections imposed by Queensland to allow the reopening. Victoria will meet the threshold on Wednesday. If its run of no new infections continues. So this is just, it's so cool. It's such a great thing to watch us get to that point where we might actually technically be hitting eradication. It's nice that Anastasia Palaszczuk has opened up those borders again. We'll be opening it. It looks like from my calendar, it looks like that's next week. It's a week from today, so that's amazing.
It's, next Tuesday.
I can come and visit you.
You
come up for a drive.
Right, come visit you.
It's exciting. Yeah, someone gave Anastasia Palaszczuk a bit of shtick this today. I forget who it was. I heard it on the news on the way home. Someone was saying that it's actually not about Queensland opening up its borders to New South Wales. It's about New South Wales allowing Queenslanders to come down to where they really want a holiday, and in fact, they should come down here and have a break from Anastasia Palaszczuk if they want to. So I forget who that was. I'm sure someone will enlighten us about that.
That sounds like a quote from a partisan person.
Yeah, so I don't know why I'm talking about me coming to visit you. You should be the one coming down here,
Yep, I can do that. We can come and do a live show or something like that.
Frolic.
Do an in-person type thing. Frolic in the in the long trees. Frolic with the long trees. Three sisters. Is it Three Sisters?
Yeah, we got the Three Sisters here at the Blue Mountains, yeah.
It's been a very long time since I've been to the Blue Mountains.
The last time I went there, it was covered in smoke. You couldn't see anything. We took our friends from Townsville there, and there's literally photos of them going like this in front of the Three Sisters. And it's just white background. So very, very funny. Very, very funny. I
think that's it.
Well, we got one more.
Oh, we do? Okay.
We got one more.
Oh, yes, this is a good one.
You should have let me guess this before I read it. It's a shame.
Yeah, what is... Well, why don't we do this?
I'm going to guess it because I've read the headline.
Yeah. Yeah, true. True.
Yeah. Word of the year is Chook Pen. And blow up Santa.
Yep.
The word, no, Jake, all seriousness, all joking aside, this is very serious. The word of the year is Daniel Andrews.
It is, yeah. And it's not at all surprising for anyone who has been in isolation. Although maybe it is actually, maybe it would be a surprise for people who are in isolation and like living under a rock. I
think that they get surprised by anything at the moment. I think if a leaf falls from a tree, they get excited.
Yeah, true. Look at that look at that leaf.
They go, a leaf fell from a tree. I saw it. So it wouldn't take much to get them excited. Put us out of our misery. What is the? Well, the
Australian National Dictionary Centre. They've released the Australian National Dictionary Centres. They've
That's one dude. That's got to be one dude.
Tom?
He is the Australian National Dictionary Centre.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds like it should have its own building or something, but surely that can't be the case.
Well, it's a book. It's just a book. People live in the book. But yes, they've released their word of the year. Greg?
Yes.
The word is isolation.
Oh, yay! Look, if I have my applause here, you'll actually be able to hear it this time, which is very exciting. I just don't know where it is. I don't know which button to press. I have no idea. Here we go. Ready?
That's fantastic. It's only in the left channel, which is not enjoyable.
Oh, well, that's not my problem.
I feel dizzy now. The cloud horn's good. I like that. That's both channels. Hey, look, Greg.
You know what that sound means?
My microphone. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Oh, wait. Ready? I can't time that.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. Good old pop filters.
Okay. There's a party noise. Oh. Oh, that's the party downstairs. Now, Jack, look, I've got to be honest with you. I haven't eaten any dinner, and I'm pretty keen to start eating some dinner. It was so good chatting with you about all of this good news, but my stomach certainly needs some good news at the moment.
Yeah, you know what's calling for me?
Yep, more risotto.
Also dinner.
Jake, when our listeners have finished contemplating and coming up with far better words than isolation for the word of 2020.
Look, I'm not sure anyone's going to be enticed to subscribe to the show.
No.
After listening to tonight's show, but
I don't think so.
If they did enjoy our shenanigans, because shenanigans they were. We of course run a normal show each week, but this was the good news episode, and we did give ourselves an opportunity to let loose and have a bit of a lark.
We're crazy.
Yes, and we would love it if they subscribe, rate, and review. You can become Patreons. Or become patrons, patreon.com/the Pouch, the podcast. Become part of the Pouch Nation.
Yep. You've said it all, Jake.
What's the byline? What's the byline underneath?
The Pouch Nation. Oh, geez, I forget already. It's only been like 2 days or something.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, some of us are just more in this together than others.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure that's what I called this week's episode. I couldn't go past it. Now, but if you want to share the love, you can do so by heading to thepouchthepodcast.com or telling your friends, families, and foes to head to thepouchthepodcast.com, where they can choose their favorite podcast player of choice. Send me an email, and I'll send you some stickers. And I got a couple of mugs on the way too. So happy to play sticker or mug. Yep.
Merch.
I don't care. Just send me an email saying, "Can I please have a sticker?" And I'll say, "Yes, you can have a sticker."
Yep.
Why not? Put it on your mate's car.
Yeah.
Because they drive around. They are far more popular than you, and they drive around way more.
Oh, classic, mate.
All right, Jake, you have yourself a lovely week, and I will chat to you again on Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.